I thought I knew what love looked like. There I was standing in my apartment on Christmas Eve, with a small velvet box burning a hole in my coat pocket, watching the snow fall outside my window. The tree was lit up in the corner. The place smelled like pine and cinnamon, and I had this warm feeling in my chest, like everything was finally coming together. Tiffany was coming over for dinner. The ring was ready. I had worked 9 months for this moment, saving every extra dollar, skipping lunches, taking overtime shifts. I was going to ask the woman I loved to marry me. I thought she would cry happy tears, throw her arms around me, say yes 1,000 times. I had no idea that in less than an hour she would spit in my face and call everything I had worked for pathetic. Before I tell you how the worst night of my life unfolded, I would love to know, where are you watching from? Drop your city or country in the comments. If this story resonates with you, or if you have ever had your heart shattered during what was supposed to be the happiest moment of your life, hit that like button and subscribe, because I have learned some hard lessons about love, self-respect, and knowing when to walk away, and I want to share them with you. Now let me take you back to how it all started, back when I actually believed Tiffany and I were building something real. I met Tiffany 3 years ago at a coffee shop in Denver. It was one of those random weekday mornings where I stopped in before heading to a job site. I am an electrician, been doing it for 7 years now, and I make decent money, not rich but comfortable. She was sitting by the window with a laptop, wearing jeans and a simple sweater, and when she smiled at me, it felt like the sun coming out. We started talking. She was easy to be around, laughed at my jokes, did not put on airs. She worked at a small marketing company back then. Nothing fancy, just a regular job that paid the bills. Those first 2 years were simple and good. We cooked dinner together every Sunday night. We would take walks in the park, with coffee cups in our hands, talking about everything and nothing. We watched movies at home instead of going to the theater because we were both trying to save money. She used to say, "I do not need fancy things. I just need you." And I believed her. I felt like I had found home in this woman. She made me feel like I was enough, exactly as I was. But about a year ago, things started to shift. Tiffany got a new job at a bigger marketing firm downtown. Better pay, better benefits. And suddenly she was surrounded by people who made more money than we did. People who drove luxury cars and took trips to Aspen on weekends and wore designer clothes like it was nothing. At first I did not think much of it. I was happy for her. She deserved success. Then the comments started. Small things at first. She would mention a coworker's handbag and how expensive it was. She would look at my 2-year-old phone and ask why I had not upgraded to the newest model. Her coworker, Amanda, just got a Louis Vuitton bag for her birthday, she said one night, while we were watching television. I nodded and said that was nice, not really understanding where this was going. Then came the comparisons about our life. Amanda's boyfriend took her to Aspen for the weekend. Why do we never do things like that? I tried to explain that I was saving for our future, that I wanted us to have a solid foundation. She rolled her eyes. We cannot just save forever, Pat. Life is happening now. I told her I understood, but we needed to be smart. She went quiet after that, but I could feel her pulling away. The way she talked about my job changed too. Before, she used to introduce me to people with pride. "This is Pat. He is an electrician." Now it was, "Oh, he works with his hands." The hesitation in her voice, the slight embarrassment, it stung more than I wanted to admit. I started feeling like I was not good enough anymore, like the life I was building was somehow less than. But I loved her. I thought this was just a phase, that she was adjusting to a new environment, and the pressure was getting to her. I thought if I showed her how committed I was, if I proved that I was serious about our future, she would remember what really mattered. So I made a decision. I was going to ask her to marry me, and I was going to do it right. I started saving in March. I took every overtime shift I could get. I worked weekends. I stopped eating out for lunch and packed sandwiches from home. I skipped the gym membership and ran outside instead. Every single dollar I could spare went into a separate account. My goal was simple: save enough for an engagement ring by Christmas. I wanted to propose on Christmas Eve in our apartment, with the tree lit up and the whole night planned out. It felt romantic. It felt right. By the end of November, I had saved $2,500. For someone making around $60,000 a year, that was a huge amount. I was proud of myself. I had worked hard for this. But Tiffany did not know what I was doing. She just saw me saying no to dinners out, no to weekend trips, no to everything she wanted to do. She started complaining. "You never want to do anything fun anymore. You are always working." I tried to tell her, "Just trust me. I am saving for something important." She would cross her arms and snap back. "You are always saving," but for what I wanted to tell her. I wanted to say I am saving to marry you. But I kept it a secret. I wanted the proposal to be a surprise. I wanted her to see the ring and understand how much I loved her, how much I was willing to sacrifice for us. I thought the ring would speak for itself. By early December, I had everything planned. The ring was sitting in my dresser drawer, hidden under some old t-shirts. I checked on it every day like it might disappear. I rehearsed what I would say. I imagined her face lighting up, tears streaming down her cheeks, her throwing her arms around me and saying yes over and over again. I thought I was giving her a dream. I did not realize I was walking into a nightmare. In mid-November, I went ring shopping. I visited 5 different jewelry stores over the course of 2 weeks. I had my budget $2,500, and I was not going to go over it. The salespeople tried. Oh, they tried hard. They would show me rings that cost $5,000, $7,000, $10,000. They would talk about clarity and cut and how important it was to make a statement. But I held firm. I did not want to start our marriage buried in debt. I wanted to begin on solid ground. I finally found it at a small jeweler near downtown. It was a half-carat diamond, beautifully cut set in a 14-carat white gold band. The design was simple and elegant. It was not the biggest ring in the store, but it was beautiful. When the light hit it, it sparkled in a way that made my chest feel tight. I thought, "This is it. This is the one." The jeweler smiled at me and said, "Whoever you are giving this to is a lucky person." I paid in cash, walked out with the little velvet box, and felt like I was holding my entire future in my hands. That ring was not just a piece of jewelry to me. It represented 9 months of work. Every extra hour I clocked in, every lunch I skipped, every time I said no to something I wanted because I was focused on something bigger. This ring was my promise, that I would work hard for us, that I would build a life with her, that I was serious about forever. I believed Tiffany would see that. I believed she would understand the value of what I was giving her. There was a moment, I will admit, when I second-guessed myself. I wondered if I should have borrowed more money, bought a bigger stone. But then I remembered why I was doing this in the first place. I wanted our life together to be built on honesty and hard work, not on debt and keeping up with other people. I wanted to start our marriage the right way. But the warning signs were there. I just did not want to see them. In early December, Tiffany's company had a holiday party, and I went with her. It was at some upscale restaurant downtown with valet parking and champagne fountains. Everyone there was dressed to impress. I wore my nicest shirt and pants, but I still felt out of place. People were talking about trips to Europe, new cars, second homes. I tried to blend in, but I felt like I was from a different world. Then I saw Amanda, Tiffany's co-worker. She was showing off her engagement ring to a group of women, and they were all fawning over it. It was massive, at least 2 carats, maybe more, set in platinum, with smaller diamonds all around the band. Tiffany stood there staring at it, her eyes wide with admiration. Amanda was laughing, saying her fiancé really went all out. I watched Tiffany's face, and something inside me twisted. On the drive home, she brought it up. "Did you see Amanda's ring? Her fiancé really went all out." I gripped the steering wheel tighter. "Yeah, I saw it." She stared out the window. It was beautiful. I did not say anything. I did not know what to say. For the first time, I felt a flicker of doubt. A week later, we had a fight. Tiffany wanted to go to Miami for New Year's Eve. I told her we could not afford it. She exploded. We never do anything fun anymore. You are so cheap, Pat. I tried to stay calm, tried to explain that I was working towards something important, but I could not tell her what it was. She started crying, saying she was tired of this boring life, tired of feeling like we were stuck. We did not speak for 2 days after that. I kept thinking, just wait until Christmas. Everything will make sense then. 1 week before Christmas, Tiffany was scrolling through Instagram, and I heard her sigh heavily. Everyone is getting engaged, getting married, buying houses. What are we even doing, Pat? Where is this going? I reached over and took her hand. Trust me, good things are coming. She pulled her hand away. You keep saying that, but I do not see anything changing. I should have seen it. I should have understood that we were not on the same page anymore. But I was so focused on the proposal, so convinced that the ring would fix everything that I ignored every red flag waving in my face. Christmas Eve finally arrived. I spent the entire day preparing. I cleaned the apartment until it shined. I went to the grocery store and bought everything I needed to cook her favorite meal steak and lobster tail. I set the table with a new tablecloth I had bought, put candles everywhere, and placed a vase of red roses in the center. The Christmas tree in the corner was covered in lights, twinkling softly in the dimming afternoon light. I put on my best clothes, a navy blue button-down shirt and dress pants. The ring was in my coat pocket. My heart was pounding so hard, I thought it might break through my ribs. Everything had to be perfect. This was it. This was the moment I had been working toward for 9 months. I imagined her face lighting up tears of joy, saying yes. I imagined us calling our families, celebrating, planning a future together. I was ready. I thought I was ready for anything. I was not ready for what actually happened. Tiffany arrived at 7 in the evening. I opened the door with a huge smile, leaned in to kiss her cheek. She let me, but her response was cold. She barely smiled. She walked into the apartment, looked around at the candles and the flowers and the table, set for 2, and said, "This is nice, I guess." Her voice was flat, no excitement, no warmth, just nothing. We sat down to eat. I had worked hard on this meal. The steak was perfectly seared. The lobster was buttery and tender. The vegetables were roasted just right. I tried to make conversation. "You look beautiful tonight." She glanced up from her phone. "Thanks." That was it. Just thanks. She took a few bites of food and went right back to her phone. I watched her scroll, my stomach tightening. Amanda posted photos from her ski trip in Vail. "It looks incredible." I nodded, not sure what to say. I kept eating, trying to keep the mood light, but the tension in the room was thick. This was not how I imagined this night going. I thought she would be happy, engaged, present. Instead, she seemed a million miles away. After dinner, I suggested we open gifts by the tree. I had bought her a cashmere scarf she had mentioned, wanting a few months back. I handed her the wrapped box. She opened it slowly, pulled out the scarf, and said, "Oh, it is nice." Then she set it down without even trying it on. My heart sank a little, but I pushed forward. There was still the ring. That was the main event. I stood up, my hands shaking. "Tiffany, there is something I want to say." She looked up at me, confused. I took a deep breath, reached into my coat pocket, and pulled out the small velvet box. Then I got down on one knee. Her eyes went wide. For a split second, I thought I saw something: surprise, maybe even excitement. But then her expression changed. It was like watching a door slam shut. I opened my mouth and started talking. "These past 3 years have been the best of my life. You make me want to be better every day. I know we have had some rough patches lately, but I love you. I want to build a future with you, have a family, grow old together." I opened the box and the little diamond caught the light from the Christmas tree. "Will you marry me?" Silence. She just stared at the ring. I waited, my knees starting to ache against the hardwood floor, my heart hammering in my chest. 5 seconds passed. 10 seconds. It felt like an eternity. Then her face twisted into something I had never seen before. Disgust. "Are you serious right now?" I blinked. "What?" She leaned forward, staring at the ring like it had personally offended her. "This is the ring. This." She reached out and took the box from my hand, holding it up to examine it closer. "Pat, this is pathetic." I felt like I had been punched in the stomach. "What, this ring is tiny. How much did you even spend?" "Like $1,000. I stood up slowly, my legs feeling weak. $2,500. I saved for 9 months. She cut me off with a bitter laugh. 2,500. Pat, Amanda's ring was 15,000. I could not believe what I was hearing. "Tiffany, it is not about the size." "Of course it is about the size. It shows how much you value me. Do you know how embarrassing this would be? Showing up with this. My friends would laugh at me." I felt anger rising in my chest, mixing with the humiliation. I worked so hard for this. Every dollar. She threw the ring box onto the floor. "You are so cheap. You have always been cheap. I am tired of living like we are broke when we do not have to be." I tried one more time to stay calm. "We are not broke, but we are not rich either." "I wanted to. You wanted to. What? Insult me with this joke?" She stepped closer, her face red with fury. I could not move. I could not speak. Then she did something I will never forget as long as I live. She spat in my face. I felt the wetness hit my cheek, felt it slide down toward my jaw. Time stopped. The room went silent, except for the sound of my own heartbeat pounding in my ears. I stood there, frozen, as the reality of what just happened crashed over me. She spat in my face. The woman I loved, the woman I was ready to spend my life with, just spat in my face. "That is what I think of your pathetic proposal." Something inside me snapped, not into anger, into clarity. I reached up slowly and wiped my face with the back of my hand. When I spoke, my voice was calm, cold, and steady. "Get out." She froze. What I said, "Get out of my apartment. Now." Her expression changed instantly. The anger drained away, replaced by shock. "Pat, wait, I did not mean." I did not look at her. I walked over, picked up the ring box from the floor and closed it. "You just spit in my face and called me pathetic. You showed me exactly who you are. We are done. Get your coat and leave." "Baby, I am sorry. I was just shocked." She started, her voice breaking. "I do want to marry you, just maybe we can pick a different ring." "No." I turned to face her, and I felt nothing but emptiness, where love used to be. "There will not be a different ring. There will not be anything. I spent 9 months working extra hours for this. I skipped meals. I sacrificed because I thought you were worth it. But you are not. You are shallow, materialistic, and cruel. I do not want to marry someone who measures love by the size of a diamond." She started crying. "Pat, please." I walked to the door and opened it. "Leave. Do not call me. Do not text me. We are over." She grabbed her coat, tears streaming down her face. "You will regret this." I looked at her one last time. "The only thing I regret is not seeing this sooner." She started to say something else, but I closed the door in her face before she could get the words out. I stood there for a moment, my back against the door, listening to her footsteps fade down the hallway. Then I slid down to the floor and sat there in the silence. The candles were still burning. The food was still on the table. The Christmas tree lights were still twinkling. And I was holding a ring that was supposed to represent forever. I sat there on the floor for an hour staring at that ring. My heart was broken, but something else was broken too. The illusion that Tiffany ever loved me for who I was. Christmas Day. I stayed in my apartment alone. I did not open any other gifts. I did not call anyone. I just sat there thinking, processing, feeling everything all at once. The pain was real, but underneath it was something else, a strange sense of relief. Like I had been carrying something heavy for a long time, and finally put it down. 2 days later, the text messages started. "I am so sorry. I was horrible. Can we talk? I stared at my phone and did not respond. More messages came. I did not mean it. I love you. Please give me another chance. I blocked her number. A week after Christmas, she showed up at a job site where I was working. I was installing new wiring in an office building, and when I came outside for lunch there, she was standing by my truck. Her eyes were red and swollen. She had been crying. "Pat, please. We need to talk." I looked at her for a long moment, then walked past her without saying a word. My coworkers saw the whole thing. One of them asked if I was okay. I just nodded and kept working. In the second week of January, Tiffany sent me a handwritten letter. It arrived in my mailbox, and I almost threw it away without reading it, but curiosity got the better of me. The letter was 5 pages long. She said she made the biggest mistake of her life. She said the ring did not matter, that she just wanted me. She said she realized how shallow she had been, and that she was sorry. I read the whole thing, folded it back up, and put it in a drawer. I did not respond. By February, I heard through a mutual friend that Tiffany had been fired from her job. Apparently, she had racked up thousands of dollars in credit card debt, buying designer clothes and bags to keep up with her coworkers. The company found out she had been lying about expense reports. Amanda, her so-called friend, cut off contact with her after Tiffany borrowed money and never paid it back. The perfect life she was chasing had completely fallen apart. She called me one night. I had unblocked her number temporarily because I thought maybe I needed closure. "Everything is falling apart without you," she said, her voice thick with tears. "You were right, I was shallow. Please give me another chance." I listened to her cry for a few minutes, and then I said, "Tiffany, I hope you figure things out, but not with me." Then I blocked her again. Over the next few months, I focused on healing. I spent more time with my family. My brother told me, "You dodged a bullet, man." My mom hugged me and said I deserved someone who saw my worth. I threw myself into work, taking on bigger projects, learning new skills. I started a new hobby, woodworking. I built a bookshelf, then a coffee table, then a bench for my mom's garden. It felt good to create something with my hands, to see tangible results from my effort. I also started volunteering at a community center on weekends, teaching basic electrical skills to teenagers who wanted to learn a trade. It gave me purpose. It reminded me that my work mattered, that I mattered regardless of how much money I made or what kind of ring I could afford. Slowly, I started to feel like myself again. The pain faded. The anger disappeared. I realized that Tiffany did not love me. She loved the idea of what I could become if I changed into someone else. Someone with more money, more status, more of everything she thought would make her happy. But I was not that person, and I did not want to be. I learned that love is not measured in carats or dollar signs. It is measured in sacrifice and respect, in how someone treats you when you are vulnerable. Tiffany showed me who she really was on that Christmas Eve. And as much as it hurt, I am grateful I saw it before I married her. I kept the ring, not as a reminder of her, but as a reminder of my own worth. That ring represented 9 months of hard work, of discipline, of commitment. It represented the kind of man I am, someone who keeps his promises, who works hard, who does not take shortcuts. I was not going to let anyone devalue that, not ever again. 6 months after that terrible Christmas, I met someone new. I will not say her name because this is not about her. It is about what I learned. But she was different. She appreciated my work. She thought it was amazing that I could fix things with my hands, that I built furniture in my spare time. She did not care about expensive restaurants or designer bags. She was happy with a home-cooked meal and a walk in the park. She did not need me to prove anything. She just liked me for me. I heard through the grapevine that Tiffany started dating someone else, some guy with money who could give her the lifestyle she wanted. I felt nothing when I heard that. No jealousy, no anger, no sadness. Just nothing. She had taught me an expensive lesson, but it was a lesson I needed to learn. Sometimes the best gift you can give yourself is walking away from someone who does not see your value. That Christmas Eve I lost a fiancé, but I found something more important, my self-respect. And honestly, that is worth more than any diamond. So let me ask you, have you ever walked away from someone who did not appreciate you? Have you ever had to choose your self-respect over a relationship? Drop your answer in the comments below. I would love to hear your stories. And if this story meant something to you, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this with someone who needs to hear it. Sometimes we all need a reminder that we are worth more than how others treat us. Thank you for listening to my story. I hope it helps you remember your own worth. Take care of yourself out there, and remember you deserve someone who sees your value without you having to prove it.